Hello everyone, thanks for checking out today's video and welcome to my channel, Jersey Shore Pondscapes Videos. My name is Chris. We do videos here all about koi ponds and water gardens and fish and aquatic plants and pond filtration and construction and design, landscape stuff, the whole bit. So if you're new here, please take some time, take a look around. I have a ton of videos here on this channel, all broken down to different playlists to help you kind of navigate and find your way around. So if you're new here, please take some time, take a look around. Hopefully you can find something that will help you out and answer some questions for you. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you very much. I really appreciate your support. And for those of you that are not subscribers, please do so. Hit the button and subscribe. If you like this stuff, I have a ton of information here for you guys. And I put a lot of time and effort into all this, so I really appreciate some support. Thank you very much. Hit the like button, and hope you enjoy the videos. So, today's video, we are basically going to be talking about pond designs as far as doing a more natural, irregular shaped pond, a formal pond, or I want to show you something else that we did in I want to call it like a sculpture garden. Okay, so when you are thinking about building a pond and you look at the area that you want to put it in, sometimes different formal or informal designs can fit better into certain spots. So for the average normal, backyard garden pond, you probably want to do something more natural looking, more irregular shaped, okay, free form kind of stuff. And that is really the most common and popular kind of design. It's kind of cool to do if you have an open space, an open area, to go out there, with either a long extension cord, a garden hose, a rope, something like that, that you can lay out on the ground and kind of design a shape and size. Now, I say to use that kind of stuff rather than paint, because I'll guarantee you're going to change it 10 times. And if you have all these stripes and lines of paint all over the place, it's just going to become a big mess. A garden hose, a rope, an extension cord, something like that is really easy to lay on the ground, look at the shape and say, well, maybe if I pull it in a little bit more here and pull it out a little here, or put a little more curve here, you can do that. So that kind of helps you to envision the shape of your pond in the area that you want to put it in. Once you have that, you might want to start thinking about, what are we going to do around the pond? All right, as far as, are we going to put a patio in here? Are we going to have a little sitting area or place for a bench? Do I want to put a specimen tree, or shrub or something, in a certain spot? Where are we going to put the waterfall? Where does the waterfall, where is it facing? Where do I want it facing? Things like that to start thinking about. Are we doing mulch bed around the pond? All right. What kind of plantings? How much room do I have behind the pond? Where are my filters and stuff going? How am I going to set that up? A lot to think about, and that's a whole nother video, but I just want to kind of get into the design, the shape of it, right? So if we are talking, like I said, a more informal, just area back in your yard, a really, nice free-form shape is perfect. Now, also keep in mind, the further away from your viewing area that the pond is, in other words, out of your living room window, your kitchen window, your bedroom window, wherever you want to view this pond from the most, maybe off of your patio, by your pool, whatever it may be, the further away from your viewing area that your pond is, the smaller it's going to look. So keep that in mind. You may say, you know what, I want to do a pond that's 8 by 10. Okay, that's nice. If that's right here off of your patio, that's going to be a nice little pond here. If it's 100 feet away, you know, back out there in your yard and you're standing here on your patio, it's going to look like a puddle. All right, so just keep that in mind. I'm not saying you have to make that pond bigger if you're putting it further away. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying realize that your viewpoint of that pond, the pond is going to look a lot smaller. Okay. Just something to consider, okay? I know it all depends on budget and everything else as to how big you want to make your pond, but it's just something to consider. I don't want you to be disappointed, you know, when you invest your money into it and you build the pond and you're standing, you know, 50, 75, 100 feet away from it and you're like, oh man, it doesn't look like much from here, right? When you walk up to it, it's nice, but I've had people, you know, say that to me. I wish I made it bigger. Okay. So yeah, a nice formal design, right? Fits right into a garden bed. Landscaping around it can be really, you know, natural. A mixture of different kinds of plants and flowers. You know, a nice waterfall, all that kind of stuff. Definitely fits into, you know, a garden theme. Now, sometimes the area that you want to build the pond lends to a more formal design. So what would I mean by formal design? More round, square, right? You know, a specific clean-cut edged design instead of rocks and boulders and gravel all kind of thrown all over. Very clean-cut edges. So there's a couple examples here I'm going to show you here in the background of some formal designs that are quite interesting, and they're kind of cool. I like both you know, types of designs. You know, like I said, you know, 85% of what I build is the natural ponds, but there are times when I have a real formal design that fits perfect to what, you know, the client wants and where it needs to go. This last one here is actually a duck pond that we just did recently, and it's kind of cool because it is a round formal design, but we kept a regular bluestone around the top so that it kind of makes it an informal look. All right, formal shape, informal finish, kind of a natural finish around the top, as opposed to something like this that has limestone, right? Straight cut square pieces of limestone. Now, the duck pond, again, was kind of cool because it's an older home. And we set this right in the middle of the backyard. So they wanted to keep just a round shape right into the middle. And they're going to do some landscaping and maybe like English garden stuff around it. So the landscaping around it, like a formal boxwood hedge around certain parts of it and stuff like this, will lend into that normal design. But you know, this is up in the mountains in Pennsylvania, actually, and it's a very natural environment, right? So we have the formal design with the natural, irregular shaped bluestone around the top. So I thought that turned out really kind of cool. So it's kind of blending two ideas. Yeah. But the formal design, right, can be very square and natural, very square and formal, but we can add natural elements to it, like this one here that has a big boulder set into one side and a little waterfall, natural looking waterfall in the other. So that too kind of blends elements of a formal shape with some natural elements in it to kind of let it blend into the landscape. This pond is actually in a courtyard that has not only some irregular natural bluestone at patio area, but it also has large square pavers, so to speak, around the sides as a sidewalk. So off that formal paver square sidewalk, it has the natural irregular bluestone sitting area. So, you know, having the pond that has those square natural edges with some natural stone on it kind of blend right in. And I thought it was a really, really cool effect. And as far as waterfalls go, well, we can build a natural waterfall like this one, or we can do something more formal, right? Like these, okay? Where this is all made out of square bluestone that is all stacked and set together, right? And then we have a nice spillway over the top to create this cascading waterfall. So it gives you the same natural sound, a lot of sound off this, as, you know, a natural waterfall, but in a more formal design. Okay, and lastly, real quickly, I just want to show you this pond. This is a unique pond. I didn't build this, but I've been working for this client for many, many, many years. And basically what this here pond is a swimming pool. It's shallow. It's about 4 feet deep, 4.5 feet deep, but it's all made out of gunite, concrete. Okay, it's built like a pool, and in fact the filter system here on the one end, the round area, is actually a big was a jacuzzi. It was a hot tub kind of thing that has a spillway out of it into the main pond pool. Okay, but it is a pond. I mean, it's designed, probably built by a pool company with all the gunite, but it is a pond. It was built as a pond. Unfortunately, the filter system wasn't set up like a pond, so I kind of had to retrofit my own kind of filters and stuff on it to make it work the way a pond should and not a pool. But we did that many, many years ago. And you know, it all has all moss rock, all concreted in around the pond, and it's set in this whole gravel bed with a deck and gazebo back off of the side of it. What's really cool now with this pond is the landscape work we did. As you can see, it's different, right? The homeowner originally came to me and said, hey, just one spring he called me up and said, hey Chris, I want to rip out all the landscape stuff. He had a whole mixture of things and stuff all around the pond. And so I want to rip it all out and I want to redo the whole landscape around the pond. He goes, but I want to make it like a really lush tropical look. So I'm like, okay, all right, we can do that. So I started thinking about a whole list of plants that I can use that, you know, big lush green leaves, different colors, textures, all this stuff that we can make this look tropical, right? Okay, now that we're in New Jersey, mind you, okay, so we're not in a tropical place, but we can use things that give it that vibe, right? All right, I had a whole list of plants ready. I knew what I was looking at. So I invited my client to meet me at a large garden center here, and I wanted to walk through the garden center and show him all the different plants and stuff that I was thinking about using. So he and his wife met me at this garden center. They got out of their car. We started walking into the nursery, and right there in the front was this, you know, pom-pom poodle juniper thing, all kind of crazy. And they both looked at it and said, that's cool. Why can we use that? And I'm like, that's not lush and tropical, right? They ended up totally flip-flopping and thinking about all these sculpted pieces, spirals, pom-poms, you know, all kinds of crazy funky shaped things. And I normally don't plant a lot of that. I'm more into the natural stuff, like, right? And I know what kind of maintenance all that stuff takes to take care of, to keep it all that shape. And most people don't want to take care of that and do that, keep that up. And they ended up just growing wild and not looking like poodles and pom-poms and spirals anymore. So I was walking around really honestly thinking like, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe we're picking out all this stuff. They picked out a ton of stuff, probably close to, I don't remember what the number was. We had some large pieces of blue cypress junipers that, blue cypress that were, 8-10 feet tall, and a couple $1,000s a piece. I mean, we probably had $12,000 to $15,000 worth of plants and materials going onto this job, and they were all spirals and pom-poms and poodles and all this stuff. And I was like, this is crazy, but you know what? Let's see what we can do. So we did this, and this is what it came out to look like. And it's really pretty cool. Like, I got done with that and we're looking at it like, that's wild. You know what it is? If you have a natural landscape with, all just, normal growing bushes and trees and shrubs and stuff, and you put, two of these poodle or pom-pom things in the middle of it, sometimes it just doesn't look right. If it's a centerpiece, if it's a, an ornamental, point of interest, then it might work. But sometimes just, in a garden bed, with perennials and flowers and nice, arborvitaes in the background and stuff, and then have some crazy spiral thing in the middle, it just sometimes just doesn't fit, at least to me. But when you do everything like that, it becomes like a topiary garden almost, right? I mean, we're not forming animals and stuff, but it really is a very sculptured garden, and it's quite cool. Now, this client has a landscape company that comes in and takes care of his whole yard. So, I don't know how many times a year they come in and trim all these bushes and keep their shape and everything, but they do. So this works. And it's really, really a pretty cool piece that, I look back at and I said, wow, like, this is cool. Like, I walk in this yard and say, man, this is really nice. So definitely something different to consider and think about, different, right? Really different. A lot of these koi ponds and stuff, we look at Japanese gardens, and there's a lot of elements in the Japanese garden design that are really interesting too, as far as placement of rocks and boulders on the side, the trees that we use around it. There's a whole art to that, and that's really something really interesting too. The use of gravels and sand around the pond, where it's all raked up with lines that are flowing, right? And the whole Zen garden kind of thing. The Japanese designed gardens are very, very cool. Years ago, I met a guy who we worked with that at a garden center, actually many, many years ago, who actually lived in Japan for a long time. He was a landscape design guy, and he was taught in Japan how to prune, cut Japanese maples, the big lace leaf weeping maples. And here in this country, it's pretty amazing because we look at these Japanese lace leaf maples like big umbrellas, right? When we see the big canopy, of the, lace leaf maple umbrella kind of thing, we look at it and go, wow, it's beautiful. Look at the size of this. It's nice, right? That's not what they look at. They don't want to see that umbrella canopy. The art, to them, the art of the tree is the branch work, the twisty, crazy branch work that's inside, underneath that canopy of leaves. So when they cut these maples and prune these lace leaf maples, they open them up in certain ways that you can see through and see that twisting branches inside that tree that makes that tree unique and something special and a piece of art basically in your garden, rather than just an umbrella, right? It's a piece of art. It's nature, this wild, crazy shapes and designs and twists and turns of the branches inside. So very cool, right? So definitely something to think about. And in the Japanese garden, we can do, you know, a more formal look. We can do a more natural look as well. And lastly, I just want to touch on like an English garden. All right, very formal, squared, boxwood hedges, almost like a knot, right? Those knot maze boxwood hedges, flowers in between, and what kind of pond sometimes goes in the center of that, right? Can be round, could be square, but put in like a diamond shape. It could be something, a crazy shape like this. But this pond here, if this was in the middle of a beautiful English garden, it would look really, really cool. Okay, so definitely just some different ideas and designs, going natural, going formal, you know, setting it into a Japanese garden feel, a natural, you know, a landscape garden, maybe a hummingbird butterfly garden with it, you know, perennials, annuals, shrubs, trees in the distance, you know, behind it as a backdrop, a border, larger evergreens, all that kind of stuff, right? Can blend in and make your pond unique and fit into the area that you want to create. So very, very cool stuff. All right, just some thoughts, some things to think about here this week on this video. I hope that kind of helped you out, gave you some thoughts and ideas to pull through your head. Basically, you know, more ways that you can spend money, basically, you know. A lot of times I go to people's houses and they want to build a pond, and you know, they'll say, oh, I'm thinking about building a pond about this big, you know, over here. And okay, so we start talking about it. And my thing as, you know, as a pond designer, as a pond builder, is my brain just starts spinning. Like, okay, well, what can we do here? What will this look like? Where, you know, is this the best place for it? You know, what can I do here to make this really cool? You know? And then I start giving the clients ideas. Well, you know, we can do this, and then we can bring the pond out just a little more this way, and you can add a bench or something here and sit in it. And, you know, the whole time I'm like, okay, this is, you know, making the pond more and more, a little more expensive. But I'm not trying to do that. I'm not looking to try to take, honestly, I don't look to try to take, you know, a $7,000-8,000 job and make it a $10,000 job. That's not what I really want to do. I don't try to do that. I just try to give my client options and ideas. And if it's something that they really would like and something that they would say, yeah, that would be awesome, I would love to do that, then I've done my job. Okay, it's not about, you know, upselling them something better. I really don't need to do that. It's not what my point. I want my client to be happy. You know, I mean, I may make more money, but it's also more work for me. Okay, sometimes it's easier just to do a small little job and do it and be done and be out. Right? But my mind starts spinning. I start thinking about design, right? What are we going to do here? What can we do? What if it fit here? Maybe, you know, maybe it should be smaller. Maybe it should be a little bigger. You know, maybe if we go bigger, then I have to make the waterfall bigger. Do you really want to spend that much more money? Because it's not only building the pond bigger, it's making the waterfall bigger to scale with the pond as well. So there's a lot of things to think about when you look at design in different areas. All right. I hope I gave you some insights. Thank you for listening to me and watching the video. And I hope it helped you out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Again, I really appreciate your support. It's what makes me keep doing this. So, you know, the more subscribers I can get and the more likes I get on the videos, the more these videos become accessible to more and more people. So hopefully, you know, that's the whole point, all right? To help all you guys out and hopefully hope that all these videos can help you out with things. So thank you very much again. We'll see you back again hopefully soon in another video. Take care, right? Have a great day. Bye.